and I am one of the creators of Oceanborn, and I am the producer of Oceanborn, and the general manager, and the marketing person, and wear many hats. And today, I want to take you through the process of what it's like to get a show from the first draft all the way to a stage in New York. This is a process that I feel particularly passionate about, sort of giving the public and giving girls like me the opportunity to look into this world.
I think that one of the most incredible moments out of this entire extraordinarily incredible experience was when I walked into a creative meeting. And sitting around the table, we had director and sound designer and assistant director, producer, and it was all young women. This is entirely something that is out of the ordinary. I cannot express to you how strange and beautiful that moment was, because this is an art form that I've grown up absolutely adoring. And as soon as I began entering it as a young professional, I would always, go to Broadway shows and open up the playbill and look at the producing team and the creative team. And almost always it would be exclusively men, or they would have, 40 men and then one female assistant costume designer, which is, amazing for that one woman, but you very rarely see an all-female creative team. And getting to have that on my very first show, the first show that I had written, the first show that I produced, the first show in New York that I got to be a part of, was really eye-opening. And I think it set a very different standard for me than most young people entering this industry. From now on, when I enter into a creative room, I know what it can look like. I know that you can produce incredible art with a group of 20-something girls around a table. And I know that you can have an extraordinarily creative and effective and compelling story that is not only written but also executed by women. And that means that from now on, when I'm entering this industry and when I'm entering those rooms, I don't have to assume that the way that they are is simply based on talent. I can know that it is possible to have amazing groups of young women. And when you enter a room and there are 40 men there, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are there because they're the 40 most talented human beings in the world. Which sounds like a really negative statement, but it mostly just means that because of this experience, I have a higher standard. It means that from now on, I'm going to be hiring people based off of talent and based off of whether or not they can do the job. Because I saw a group of 5 basically recent college graduates or college-age students pull off an off-Broadway musical with a cast of 13. And they did it beautifully, and they did it gracefully, and they did it with such a standard of integrity and kindness for each other that from now on, I will always hold everyone in my area to that standard.
I was really attracted to this project initially because of the music. That's all I really knew when I applied, because I heard the music that was on YouTube and on Spotify. And the story was, shown beautifully through the music. A lot of the lyrics are really intelligent and emotionally strong.
Honestly, when I first read the audition notice for the show and saw that it was all women on the team, and I started looking up the documentary and the Instagram and the 54 Below concert, I fell in love with everything they stood for. The first thing that attracted me to this project was the music. I didn't even know what this show was. I got it, I heard about it from my agent, and I looked these guys up for my audition on YouTube, and I listened to the music and was like, what is this magical piece that's being made? And it was just so, I was just stunned that these such young women had written such beautiful words and music, and I think that is what drew me in initially.
Being around so many incredible females is absolutely one of the most empowering things I've ever experienced in my life. people here are very dedicated and very passionate, and their voices are so loud that it's overwhelming in like the best way possible. And being part of that, being such a strong female character and having such strong females back me up, I feel the most supported I've ever felt in a project, in a show, and maybe even in my life, which is pretty amazing.
That it was basically an all-female team and new. I just wanted to be a part of something, especially like at this level, and grow with it and grow with the character and the story and just like watch it evolve and be a part of it is like so exciting to me, and I cannot believe I'm here.
So, what has it been like working with so many girls? Have you ever worked with so many girls on a show before?
No, it's usually like at least the same amount of boys and the same amount of girls, but I like it when it's a lot of girls because the show is about girl power. And since I'm young Addie, I'm kind of in the middle of it, so I'm kind of understanding it and I'm kind of not in the show. So it makes me feel a little more.
You feel girl power in the room?
Yeah.
Especially we have a female director, an assistant director, and
Yes.
like I'm there running the show. So it's a lot of teenage girls in charge.
Yes.
There's a lot of girl power in that room.
Honestly, when I think about starting the rehearsal process again, I get extraordinarily overwhelmed because now I know what it took. So we got started rehearsing with only the script. We actually had a kind of odd situation in which we had about 3 weeks of rehearsal, one of which our director was going to be in Ireland. And, of course, as with all other challenges that we faced on this project, we just made do. So in the first week, we managed to basically get everybody to know the script, and we blocked and choreographed all of the scenes. So it was a lot of learning on the fly. And what also happened during that week was we had a reading on day one, and then I realized that I needed to rewrite the entire script. So we spent about 2 days all honestly just sitting around a table doing deep dives into character work, doing deep dives into everybody's motivations and their arcs. I rewrote an entire script in about 3 days maybe, and then we got started with actually blocking out the entire show. And of course, in that process, we continued to make rewrites on the fly, but that's really what developmental theater is all about. And I think what was really incredible about this team was that they were so willing to run with it. And everyone was so understanding of the fact that this was a baby show. I had never seen any of the stuff that Mhairi and I had written really on its feet with actors. So it was an entirely new process for everyone. But most of these people are people who have done developmental theater before, and if they hadn't, then they were very, very accommodating in their rehearsal process, which was amazing. What was really amazing about my team here was that they didn't have any kind of ego surrounding it. Everyone was just there because they wanted this show to be great. They wanted this show to be the best thing that it could be, and they all believed in the heart of this story. And there was such a spirit of understanding and compassion, and we're going to get this done in that room. We were all just there because we wanted to make a good piece of theater. And we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of really experienced people. We didn't have a Broadway producer. We just had a bunch of 20-somethings who wanted to make good art. And we did, which was amazing.
At the Fluid Project.
Y'all don't even understand how teched we are.
We are
right
teched.
now.
We are so teched.
We are beyond teched.
We are.
This cast became friends, honestly, quicker than any other cast I have seen. We immediately, when we all got in that room on day one, we just knew from the beginning that we were all going to be best friends. It was such a kind group, and it was just, there were such good vibes in that room. We were all laughing our butts off on day one, and within one of the first, honestly, probably the first rehearsal, second rehearsal, something, we all went out to dinner and hung out afterwards. And after that night, it was like we were inseparable. The entire cast was just so lovely, and half of the videos of us from rehearsal are just people hugging each other and cuddling on the sides of the stage and stuff, because we all loved each other that genuinely. There's just something you get with theater people a lot of the time where there's this immediate click, And when you're doing an insane process over the summer, we had 3 weeks to rewrite and stage and produce a musical for the first time that had a cast of 13. That is an insane undertaking. But everybody in that group was game for it, and we all knew it was going to be some of the craziest 3 weeks of our lives. So we just showed up to rehearsal every day. We made it work for those 5 or 6 hours, and then afterwards we would all go home together and go to dinner together, hang out in parks, and just talk and really make the most of those weeks because we knew that they were going to be some of the most important weeks of our lives. Even to this day, some of these people are my best friends. We just had a little reunion last week, and I know that these are going to be the people who are at my wedding if I get married and who are going to be there 10, 20 years down the line because they were there for me in a time when I needed people more than I ever had before, and we were part of something magical together. And once you've done something extraordinary with a person, they never really leave you.
I'm very excited for the first rehearsal.
Really? How excited are you?
Scale of 1 to 10, 10.
10.
I think the gala was one of the coolest things that happened with this show. For those of you who aren't super entrenched in the New York theater scene, a festival production is not the kind of thing that normally gets a gala. But from start to finish, this had been such a unique experience that we really wanted a minute for this cast to get to celebrate. They had done something extraordinary in staging this musical and in being so kind and loving and understanding every step of the way. So we decided that a gala was the perfect way to celebrate. And the Fluid Project, they are absolutely amazing and so accommodating. And when they offered us a space, of course, we just knew that we had to do it. It was essentially just a moment for the families and the friends of this cast that had just gone through so much together in this time to really come together and celebrate what we had all done. And it was so fun for Mhairi to get to meet the cast and sing with us, and for us to see her because she wasn't able to be here for a lot of the process because she's located far away. And so it was really a cool moment for everybody to really come together and celebrate everything that had been done over the past 3 weeks, and for all of us to just enjoy that moment and really sit with it for a second before the show opened, before we went into the craziness of that week of performances. We all just got to be together for a moment and remember that we had done something amazing and that we all loved each other so much. And even though we were nervous, even though we were scared of what was going to happen the next day, we knew in that moment that things were never going to be the same and that this was a time that we had to remember.
Tonight we are going to be performing a couple of the songs from Oceanborn. It's going to be our cast plus the original 50-year-old cast.
You and I, got something in common. I tried to take what's ours, no stopping. I'll be mad. They'll understand that nothing is in my way.
Is anybody out there listen like I do? Is anybody out there like me? Roaming blind, a thief in my own life, stealing up space, taking one by one, found each other, but at home, and one by one, let the shadows get alone. Step up to the stand and look at where we stand as we sat around the fire, called it home. One by one, found each other, found a home, and one by one, let the shadows get alone. Sing our all our plans and came with empty hands as we sat around the fire, called it home. As we sat around the fire, called it home. As we sat around the fire, called it
Honestly, I don't remember much of the final rehearsal, and I think that most people on the cast would say the same. It was just such an adrenaline-fueled moment. We were all rushing around and doing last-minute corrections on the music and doing last-minute changes in the choreography, and mostly we were all just so excited. The last rehearsal is always this kind of funny moment because you're trying so hard to make everything perfect, but also really at that point it's too late. The only thing left to do is remember all of the work that you have done leading up to that moment, and remember how excited you are to share all of this with these people that you love, and get to know that, the time has come. And in that moment, I think I was just so excited because I was watching all of these people that I had spent literally probably 12 hours a day with for the past 3 weeks. Like, these people were sleeping on my couch. I love them all with my whole heart. And I was watching them in their final moments before they got ready to go on stage. And it was this incredible culmination of everything that had been, going on in the last 18 months, from me and Mhairi being, teeny little teenagers and writing this on a living room floor, to getting to watch 13 of my best friends in the world go out there and perform this show that is so close to my heart. It was a really beautiful moment, and I knew even before they took to that stage that it was going to be life-changing.
Action.
Hello, I'm Mhairi Cameron. I'm the composer-lyricist for Oceanborn, and I'm so excited to talk to you about how we made this crazy thing happen in literally a month. We found out about the Rave Theater Festival in the end of June, and they wanted us to put on the show at the beginning of August. So obviously we said that's completely impossible. There's no absolute way we're going to be able to do that. Thank you to all of those guys back there. We did do it with almost $10,000 on Kickstarter as our opening date, plus producer interest, plus advertisements and music from the album sales. It really is an incredible thing to be able to see the show come to life in less than a month, when most off-Broadway shows are going to take at least 6 months in development. Not so for Oceanborn. I recently was in London speaking about my experience being one of the youngest off-Broadway composer-lyricists for Oceanborn. And what I found really important was saying that we all have a story which is worthy of telling, and Oceanborn is really about showcasing that young people, that women, that minorities, all have a story that is really worth sharing. So when you're thinking about the art that you want to create, or your success in your job, it really should be in terms of you. Your success is just as important as anybody else's. So when you work hard and you get stuff done, amazing things can happen, like an off-Broadway show in less than a month. I also want to say a huge thank you to the fans who made this happen, who made this go internet viral, who made us blow up, and made this thing really happen.
Okay, guys, we're gonna run it from Aristotle to the end yet again, and where's Penny?
Right next to you.
Hi, Penny. After you're done doing that, can I have you fill Calder briefly just so we can get...
We are excited. We've been working on this for so long, man, and we are just ready to
Way to go.
So proud of the show.
So proud of the show, so proud of this cast.
We're about to open the show.
Cool.
Yeah, of
Are
course.
you guys super excited?
Super excited.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Chilling before.
How are you? Ready to go? Perfect.
We are about to open Oceanborn in 8 minutes. Literally a year ago we were in Go Below, and now we're here. I'm about to die. I'm gonna cry so bad.
The first performance of Oceanborn was probably one of the biggest defining moments of my life. It was everything that I could have dreamed of, and that I think Mhairi and I could have dreamed of back when we were writing it. It was so amazing to have, first off, a sold-out house of some of my favorite human beings in the world getting to watch this show that Mhairi and I had made so long ago and had now grown into something so much bigger than we could have dreamed. I was sitting between my parents and Jamie, and I was probably shaking the entire time, to be honest. I think most of it is probably a very big blur. And I knew that summer had been terrifying. I knew that those 3 weeks of late nights and pulling all-nighters with my friends and early rehearsals, late rehearsals, all of it, I knew that had been worth it. Because when they bowed and I got to see all of these things that we had been dreaming of for so long finally come to fruition, I think that that's a kind of dream come true moment that most people don't get. And if you get, you are so lucky. The rest of the run was just mind-blowing. I don't think that you really realize how much better a show gets with being performed, but the difference between opening night and closing night was just astronomical. And I could not believe how much everyone grew, how much our story grew. The way that our actors all settled into their roles and what they were doing, it was amazing to watch, just the incredible learning curve that these artists had. We were so excited when we found out that we were getting an extended run. I mean, that is unbelievable for a festival show to sell so well that they added more performances for it. That was just such an amazing moment, and it was so, I think, vital to this show because it told us that everything we had done had been worth it, and that this story that we believed in was actually something worth believing in. And that was just, I think, one of the most validating moments of my life, and it was everything that 17-year-old me could have hoped for.
Like, when I saw the 54 Below show, like, I was blown away by the music, of course, and, you know, like, I never could tell who was singing. That was my one thing.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, who is this?
What character is what?
Now that I see it live, it's so cool and mind-blowing to see how far you guys have come since, like, 54 Below, and it's, like, insane. Yeah.
We are about to close our show in about 15 minutes. The last run of Oceanborn Off-Broadway starts. I do not know how to feel right now. Mostly I'm feeling nervous, but I am so blown away by all of the support that we have gotten, all of the incredible fans that have come out. Oh, hello. All of just the incredible support that we've received throughout this process. All of the amazing fans that have come out to support our show, and all of the work that our cast and creative has put into this process. It's truly made it a dream come true, and I could not be more grateful for every person who has been involved in this, telling this story and in making this dream a reality.
When the performers took their final bow, I felt almost a massive sense of relief. Really, it was like this incredible thing that nobody believed could happen had worked. I felt almost like I had pulled off some kind of cosmic sleight of hand to go from, I wasn't even living in New York when we found out about this run, to I moved to New York and I made amazing friends and got a team that I was so lucky to work with. And I was in rehearsal every single day with these people and just saw Mhairi and I's story come to life in a way that we never believed. And when we had a sold-out run, an extended run, and the performers finally took their bows, it was like I had been holding my breath for a few months. And in that moment, I just breathed for the first time because I knew that it was going to be okay. I knew that this story had been done justice, which was something I was really afraid of. Essentially, it was just, what if we can't make it work? And we did. And Oceanborn will always have such a massive place in my heart and a piece of my heart, because this story is something that I believe in, but even more, these people are people that I believe in. And the fact that this team came together because they believed in a story of teenage girls, and that this team of essentially teenage girls brought it to life. And at the end, we were able to sit there and know that we had done it. We had pulled off the impossible, and we had created magic, not only with our story, not only with what was told on stage, but with bringing together a group of people who would be family forever. And I know that they will be my family forever.